So on Monday, one of my Facebook friends posted a status about how he thought that the 300 soldiers, the Spartans, could beat the many, many orcs that are in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Except for the fact that he called them trolls, and I promptly corrected him on that. I actually disagree with this theory, and I use the basis that in order to fight magical superhuman creatures, you need magical superhuman creatures. You can't put a bunch of human beings against a bunch of orcs and expect the human beings to win. Now, even though the Spartans are badasses, I still don't see them winning. It took a huge group of elves, a few dwarves, a ton of humans with bows, arrows, swords, and mad skills, Gandalf the White, and birds to finally beat the orc army. And don't forget the Ents who took down the ones that were in Isengard, or the 4 hobbits that fueled the entire storyline, or the group of living dead that came back to fight because the king basically forced them to. Another argument put out there is that the Spartan army has superior weaponry. Spartans may have shields, armors, doors, javelins, double-edged swords, and sarissas, which are just really long spears to keep the enemy further away. But the orcs have swords, bows and arrows, catapults, huge elephants they ride around on that can stomp people, brute strength, and even uglier orcs they can rely on if they fail. Not quite sure what those are called. So yes, my argument still stands on this. If it took this many groups of magical creatures and people to defeat the orc army, then how are 300 human beings with superior weaponry going to defeat the massive amount of orcs facing them? But you know, that's just my opinion, even though I'm right. So what is your take on this? What do you think? Could 300 soldiers beat a race of orcs? Or would the soldiers be completely decimated by the orcs? Okay, so obviously this video isn't very serious. I mean, I know I have a good point, but I am not seriously sitting here arguing for the orcs and against the Spartans. What are you doing?
Sorry,
I was basically just playing around whenever I was commenting on his status, and if you read the conversation, it's a lot more playful than, hey, I just pwned you. But today when I got back to work, I heard that people were talking about it for 2 days straight. Also, I'm participating in Blog Every Day in April, which is something that was started last year, and I figured I would just continue the tradition, except for the fact that I didn't do it last year. So you can find that in my Kimber Says War blog, which will be in the underbar. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and call it the doobly-doo. That's what the nerd fighters are calling it these days. So yes, blog is in the doobly-doo, so is the Kingdom Hearts blog. Alright, I'm gonna go. Bye!